tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Okay, so this is the beginning day of our group practice and beginning day of getting our routine and rhythm going. So just to give some reflections on practice, on, this is a opportunity for focusing, cultivating our meditation practice, 3 months winter retreat. But I would be hesitant to say encourage the perception that all this is a meditation retreat. This is an opportunity for deepening our in terms of that's a general sense of the our whole approach to practice, or certainly how Ajahn Chah approach practice, and I would venture to say how the Buddha approach practice. That this is a complete path of cultivation of body, speech, and mind. It's a complete path of sila, samadhi, panya, and I think it helps to make that kind of conscious, because it's easy to slip into that sense of kind of me and my meditation, and how's my meditation going? How's your meditation going? I mean, it's I think it's to open up and broaden the perspective of what we're actually doing. And I think that's why I think it's a great theme to be pursuing, of the say Buddhanussati, recollection of the Buddha, because it's we're putting ourselves into a larger context, and years ago, Luang Por Sumedho, and he still mentioned it, but it was I was very struck by it one time when he started reflecting in that way, and they said that what we are what the perspective is to come back and embody or settle into the sense of the Buddha seeing the Dhamma. This is what we're really trying to do. The one who knows, seeing the way things truly are. So that sense of, and of course, just by doing that or including oneself in that process, that in itself is Sangha. So that these refuges, what we're really trying to do is enter into and embody, incorporate, make real these refuges of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in our hearts. So that as we, and of course there's many meditation techniques and there's many methods and whatnot, and we'll be covering some of them through this winter retreat. But I think to almost to make a plea to broaden your perspective, hold it in a way that it doesn't end up about me trying to get ahead in my meditation, or me trying to feel good in my meditation, me trying to enhance my kind of worldly goals of some kind of confidence or self-identity, or trying to prop up a quote-unquote spiritual identity. Me the meditator, me the successful meditator, me the successful monastic, me the whatever, me, and it's really about, and it always comes back to freedom from suffering. This perspective that the Buddha gave from his very first teaching through to the end of his life, that he characterized as the elephant's footprint that encompasses all the teachings. That sense of the purpose is that freedom from suffering, and of course it manifests in many different ways, and one can describe it in many different ways, and it has all sorts of philosophical nuances. But that is the kind of overarching kind of perspective, in the sense of recognizing, and it's not a kind of an annihilation of self in order to get something, but it's a seeing, the Buddha seeing the Dhamma, the one who knows, seeing the way things truly are, and relying on the different aspects of the path in order to facilitate that cultivation, the developing of our clarity around our precepts and our whether we're lay people practicing, whether we're monastics in training, whether we've been monastics for some time, it's just clarifying that relationship with the precepts, and not in a. I mean, people can get very worried and obsessed with precepts and rules, and that's not really the point. The point is to create a sense of, oh wow, I'm really trying, and I'm actually living a really, in terms of the human condition, this is incredibly honorable, and take delight in that sense of non-remorse, and really delighting, because that's what nourishes the peaceful, clear heart. Our development of of our mindfulness practices, of clear comprehension, of applying mindfulness and awareness in our daily activities, having a continuity of mindfulness and clear comprehension in all the things that we do, it facilitates that clarity and well-being. It's something to be nurtured. And again, it's not something to get obsessed with or get tight about. It feels so comfortable just to be clear and aware, and to be able to return to that base of awareness. And then, of course, as we do that in our chores, our activities, our back and forth to our dwelling places, participating in the routines, the rhythm of the daily life, we can be incorporating that into the formal aspects of walking meditation, sitting meditation, and that incorporating of a continuity of awareness and knowing. The one who knows, seeing how things truly are. It's just that simple, the Buddha seeing the Dhamma. And it's, goes from your ordinary, right to the levels of, refined states of stillness. And, that stillness doesn't come out of either wishful thinking or through fighting with the mind or trying to force it into the mold of stillness. I'd say it comes about through patience. Patience, not just blindly putting up with something or blindly waiting for say the unpleasant to be over, but the patience to be the one who knows, seeing the way things truly are, because being patient with our doubts. How can I be the one who knows? You tie ourselves up in knots. Patience with the discomfort, physical pain. Patience with our own mind that gets restless. Our mind that is gets agitated. Being able to be patient and hold it within that sphere of the refuges. The one who knows, seeing things as they truly are. The Buddha seeing the Dhamma. That is the opportunity, say as a sangha member. Say the one who is a supatipanna, one who practices in a good way. Utupatipanna, one who practices in a direct way. Nyaya patipanna, practicing for knowledge and understanding. Samiti patipanna, one who is practicing with integrity. And so we have this opportunity to embody and experience the flavor, the taste of the refuges. and it does take patience. Being patient with boredom. Sometimes it's really boring to sit and watch your mind and have to put up with yourself. That patience, as opposed to either reacting out of aversion or or idealism. It's just this is just knowing this is what it is like, and that patience, when it's grounded and settled, established in knowing, the fruit is stillness. That stillness, and you can't. You can force your mind to be still for a short period of time. That's not impossible. But in order for the mind to truly be still, one has to be patient with all the kind of all the crap that's there, but then also recognizing within that the opportunity for well-being. It's like the Buddha, all through the path, like the different forms of happiness that arise. I'm trying to remember this. It's just like the happiness of blamelessness, right? Just having kept the sila, anavajja, sukha, I can't remember the Pali, but there's a Pali word for it. Of course, the Buddha was able to define all this, and it's that happiness of blamelessness, of living with having lived with integrity, and the happiness of fundamental goodness, happiness of generosity and kindness, happiness of mindfulness and awareness, happiness of the mind, the heart settling. The happiness of seeing things clearly, and the happiness that arises from that recognition of impermanence, of unsatisfactoriness, of not self. The happiness that comes as this is the way things truly are, and the kind of release that comes from that is just this tremendous well-being, and then through to to say complete liberation. It was the nibbana. The Buddha describes it, nibbana paramam sukham. It's like nibbana is the highest happiness. And it's not some blank nothingness but it is so that the whole path is based on that freedom from suffering. But it's that again, if one is clarifying that we're not just doing this to feel good, but it is deeply, say, satisfying to even have a glimmer of our true potential as in this human existence. So that we're embarking on 3 months of winter retreat, and to picking up the practice in a kind of a whole or an integrative or a kind of multifaceted, just not sort of one-dimensional way and approach, and recognize that we can be, there's always obstacles to practice, there's always difficulties, but those are the things that we can learn from, rather than seeing things as as an obstacle or difficulty, sort of recognizing it as an opportunity for deeper understanding. It's sort of like again, I was just thinking of the example of the Buddha. What did the Buddha do? And facing our fears, or our anxieties, our discomforts. And you think back to there's a sutta where the Buddha talks about when he was still an unawakened bodhisattva, was going to forests, places of solitude that were conducive to fear, conducive to not places that he really wanted to go, going to charnel grounds, and then kind of being kind of jumpy and anxious, but then being willing to face that, look at it, and seeing that they are. It's natural to the mind, but it's also that is dukkha. Okay, how do we work with it? How do we see it? How do we be the one who knows, seeing things as they truly are? And it's just the Buddha seeing the Dhamma. So we have this opportunity to enter into that perspective, and that we're able to stand on the Dhamma. There's a word that's Dhamma titata, which usually means like the sense of natural or like enduring, and titta is to literally means to stand. So the standing on Dhamma, but it's also referring to this orderliness of the Dhamma, orderliness of truth, and when we stand on that this is the way things are. This is what the experience is. It doesn't have to overwhelm me. Does it have to define me? Not necessarily. If we stay with the one who knows, it changes, and there is a refuge that can be entered into. Same with our desires. It's like just transforming the kind of desire energy, because like desire and fear are it's really very so fundamental to the human condition. With that sense that you're facing fears and transforming desire. And it's like it's that desire energy that is transformed into peace, into loving kindness, into a sense of clarity and understanding. So but it rises up out of these refuges and that sense of being able to give oneself to Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. It was really when I first started meditating and practicing. One, there just wasn't that much available, and some of the things that were available were translations of, and sometimes pretty stodgy translations of classical texts. But one of the things that was really striking was that meditation instruction always started with clarifying the refuges, bringing the refuges to mind, bringing Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to mind, bringing Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to the process of the meditation, and in that point in time, I really wasn't. I wasn't looking for a religion, so that's what you think of it. But so it didn't really sink in until much later, and it wasn't much later, days later. It was much later, probably years later. But that just how important that is, and because it really shifts the way that we hold the practice. Again, a way, because we're. I mean, it's part and parcel of the human condition, but it's very much integral to a Western culture, that the primacy of the self, the individual, the me, and when it's me meditating to get my goals achieved, it gets very frustrating. But when we broaden that context in that sense of embodying a principle, embodying a refuge, embodying a liberating perspective, the Buddha seeing the Dhamma, that shifts how it's held. It shifts how it shifts the approach. It shifts what we experience, and it's just so conducive to the goal of freedom from suffering. So that sense of view is, I think, something to be considering and reflecting on from the beginning of the retreat, and as we go through this retreat, lifting it up as a recollection, as a reflection. Are the refuges solid? Am I willing to give myself to the refuges? Am I willing to have a refuge other than me and my preferences, or me and my ideals, me and my worries and fears? So that is it's a worthy reflection. And it's not that anything has to be taken on faith, but it's sort of like holding the context in a larger sphere, so that those endless proliferations of that's the idiom in Pali, that ahankara, mamankara, mananusaya, the I-making, the mind-making, the underlying tendencies to conceit, to identity. So that because it's not something that is fundamental to accept. That I has to be made, sense of mind has to be made. It's created, it is constructed, and there is something beyond that. And there's freedom, there's liberation, there's peace, and well-being, true well-being. So it's this winter retreat is an opportunity to explore our relationship to practice. Yes, one wants to put effort into the practice. Yes, one wants to be diligent, but pay attention to what ends up measuring, and then starts judging. And that's something really extra, because it's such a good thing to do on its own without having to how do you say, like calculate the value of one's kind of measuring mind. And so that sense, that the paying attention to how to practice, how to be diligent practice, how to be put effort in practice without it turning into a burden, without it turning, because all the opportunity for a continuity of 3 months of practice is it's like opening a door into stillness, into light. It's like the how the Buddha described his own insight. Chaku karani, jnana karani, upasamaya, vinyaya, nibbanaya. So that, that's this knowledge, vision, clear understanding arose, and that is a possibility. That is we want to be facilitating our efforts so that we have that opportunity to experience that. And we got the tools, we got the conditions, we have the support, and we can encourage each other to just keep doing it. So I'll offer that for reflection.
I had a question, Bob. I was thinking about effort and kind of the distinction between the right amount of effort and being too lazy. Trying to find that balance between putting in a balanced amount of effort.
Yeah, well, I think one is one of the things I keep as a reference point is always just how right effort is defined in the because these days we do the chant, the translated chant on Eightfold Path and the right effort. So that it's always defined in terms of the mental states, or the kusala dhammas, whether wholesome dhammas increase or unwholesome dhammas decrease. So that's a really important factor, because sometimes we can be very quote-unquote diligent in terms of external action, but the mind's not very happy, and that is either too tense, too tight, and then just being able to scale back a bit, and then investigating, well, where did that unwholesome mental states, where did that come from? Because sometimes it comes from, say, it's too tense, too tight, too forceful, so it makes the heart kind of cringe. Sometimes it comes from so relaxing, just bringing a bit more relaxation in, then you get guilty because I'm not, so there's so much self involved. So it's like being able to see what's actually behind that. That's where that patience with the mind is, and what we're experiencing and how things are going is so, just being very patient and kind, because we're quick to judge, especially when it's ourselves. And so then that sense of, and then being willing to experiment, because sometimes, say like sitting becomes kind of tense, but then I'll do more walking meditation. And then all the walking meditations creating a sense of ease and still experiencing mindfulness. Or sometimes it's the opposite, where one's doing walking meditation and it gets kind of restless and then one sits. So there's so many different factors that we need to be able to feel comfortable to experiment. But then also effort is much more what helps wholesome dhammas increase and unwholesome dhammas decrease. And wholesome and unwholesome, they have that kusala, akusala, it has all sorts of nuances in terms of emotional and in terms of just or happy, unhappy, clear, unclear, the sense of and has a certain moral element in the sense of it has it brings about really just I say good, and as we would normally say, well, this is really good. It's just really skillful in that sense. It's really supportive of goodness, and out of the things of matter. Okay, this is unwholesome. It really doesn't foster that sense of goodness. So there's a real spectrum when we think of kusala and akusala, and both in psychological, emotional, cognitive. There's all that realm of implication, but it covers it all. So it's that increase of what is wholesome, skillful, beneficial, support, is where we look to